I just had long arms. You know what I mean? Watching this Clemson game, and I just wish I had long arms like a basketball player. But instead, God granted me T-Rex arms. But that's all good. Like Hal Baird used to tell me I'd be a great wiffle ball pitcher. And I actually was. Like, no cap. I was a really good wiffle ball pitcher. Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. I'm so stoked to have you guys here today. We've got some Auburn basketball going on. Momentarily, they're going to be taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes in Atlanta as part of the Holiday Hootsgiving event, which we like. They usually play against Big Ten teams, and they're going to be playing Ohio State this time. And they'll be playing another Big Ten team soon when they take on the Purdue Boilermakers in the BJCC. What is that? Maybe a week or two away, so that's going to be exciting. Again, got things going on today. Jackson Arnold, the former high school five-star quarterback from Oklahoma, jumped in the portal. A lot of people after him, and he is going to be playing at Auburn next season. So that's a big, big deal for everybody of the Auburn persuasion and potentially of other people in the SEC as well when they have to face him. I feel like opinions on the bunker at auburnsports.com are a little mixed, mostly negative, actually. Kind of like, wow, this is the guy that we waited all this time for. You know, sometimes it works that way. We got a super chat coming through from one of our favorite folks. I feel like a stranger jumps in to say, LFG, much love, Drainers, Swoogans, and Tates. Be nice to see Cheney Johnson have a great game. Been a couple of weeks, it feels like it has. And first of all, hey, why is this? Oh, no, my Stream Deck is giving me attitude. How dare you? How dare you? Oh, gosh. I think I just messed it up even more. I don't know. It's not making sounds. What a bummer. Anyway, feel like a stranger. Appreciate you, bro. And you're an absolute stud. Glad to have you here. Cleveland Brown says, Wartime Eagles, stay hydrated. Let's bash some Buckeyes. My man, I'm staying hydrated. My daughter got a new Owala, so she gifted me this one. And it's not my favorite, but it's a lot bigger than the one I have before. And that's muy delicioso. Let's see. Melee says, I am here from the Brain Drain Referral Program. My code is Beard Eves Curtain. Thank you. That is amazing. I wish I could do my laugh. Unfortunately, my Stream Deck is giving me attitude. I had to update the software this morning, and apparently when it did that, it messed me up. I don't know why. And that sucks, because we love our sound effects, don't we? Especially our splash. We have to get the splash one up here. We'll have to do it manually. We'll do it live. I got to find my laughs and stuff, though. I forget where they're at. Here's the applause. This is for Feel Like a Stranger. And also, Cleveland Brown, appreciate you guys for jumping in there. And this one, where's our... I'll just have to figure it out as we move along, live TV and such. GW is here with us as well. Says anyone is better than Ashton Daniels, talking about, we've talked on the show many, many times that Auburn has got to have two portal quarterbacks. And I'm glad everybody's come to consensus that that's what's going to happen, because that's what's going to happen. So Ashton Daniels, who's coming in from Stanford, I think he'd be a fine quarterback too, to challenge Jackson Arnold and be there. I don't know if that's something he's going to want to do, because these guys, I get it, they all want to be ones, so maybe he needs to go somewhere else to be a one. But Malik Murphy, and Ashton Daniels are two guys that people that Auburn's looking at and would love to come in here and compete with Jackson Arnold. Felix the Cat, my man, what's up, bro? Says Commodore Jackson is in the lineup. Appreciate you, Felix. By the way, I saw you commenting on the portal season stuff that I've been doing, so I appreciate you being part of that as well. Been putting up some videos daily on the YouTubes, not live, but like packaged videos, kind of breaking down each day's portal visitors and where I think they kind of fit into the equation for Auburn. There's been a little bit of blowback on my beast list, which is to be expected. I just kind of rank everybody who's either been here or is here as far as just kind of like my general thought of how good they are. The Clemson-Memphis game is going to be going into overtime, which means we got to switch over to ESPNU for this game. So I'm in the process of switching over right now. And there we go. And then they'll move it back to ESPN2, I guess, when that other game ends. I can't believe I was kind of talking to you guys and I wasn't watching. How in the world? Clemson was up like 5 with 20 seconds left. What had happened? Quickly over here to our main page that we like to use for the basketball games. This is Ohio State's scouting report on the left here. They're 6-3. They have one gnarly loss to North Florida to open the season, but they've been pretty much on par since then. I mean, they're a good team. And you can see, let's see, their weakest part is going to be they give the ball away a fair amount. And shoot the ball fairly well. It's just like a solid team to me, really. It's the first time I'm looking at it. I've been kind of doing portal stuff all week. And haven't paid super close attention to basketball. Chip says, get W's. Of course, Chip and I are both pretty binary when it comes to Auburn football. You either get dudes or you don't, and then you get W's or you don't, and that's it. So they are in the process of getting dudes. It's to be determined if they're going to be in the process of getting W's because they have not done that. It's been 4 years. Can you believe that? 4 years since Auburn's had a winning season. Disgusting. All right, this game's underway, by the way. Let's see, GW says we're about to cut the brake lines on Ohio State. That's pretty good, man. All right, playing inside Phillips Arena, what I call Phillips Arena, State Farm Arena, I guess it's called now. We do have we have a bunch of bunks over there at the game, probably sitting courtside because, as you know, bunks are almost always living high on the hog, rich, beautiful wives, drive great cars. I know a bunk who drives a McLaren. A McLaren, like from Forza. Let's see. Ephesians says, Jay, this could be the game that Howard, a.k.a. Jakai, could pop off in a good way. That would be terrific. Maine says, Darrell Robinson is a Tiger. I am not keeping up with that on live because I'm doing this now. But Caleb is definitely on this 100%. Darrell Robinson, of course, and Maine, I'm not trying to question you at all. I'm just saying I didn't know that. This is the tailback from UConn. Kind of an all-purpose back. Not a super big guy, but he is willing to run between the tackles. He's been good at it. Can catch the football well, too. So the thing that confused me a little bit on Darrell Robinson was that I thought he was a lot like Damari. He brings a lot of what Damari brings. But, hey, I mean, depth at tailback in the SEC is a must. So if that is true, I like him. Yes. Jackson Arnold, of course, committing / signing with Auburn this morning. Huge deal right there. Auburn. We can fuss all day about how good is Jackson Arnold. If he was so good, why was he benched at Oklahoma for a little while? And I mean, these are all fair points to argue. But he's a QB1. He's somebody that Hugh really wanted. And bottom line, Hugh's getting the guys he wants. And he put together the class that he wanted. He had the money to get the class that he wanted. And really anything that fell short in that class is on him and on the staff. And portal, they got the resources to win in the portal. And the fact that he wanted to get Jackson Arnold and went out and got him, it's a big deal. So you guys are confirming that Caleb said some stuff on the bunker. Chris M, absolutely. All right, so that's good. That is now 2 guys added out of the portal, Jackson and then Darrell Robinson. Good pieces. I would really like to see, we got a little splash action there from Janai Broom. I would like to see that left tackle from Virginia Tech. I would really like to see him committed. I think he's pretty good. His numbers were good this year, and you saw that growth on PFF from his first year starting. It was okay. And then last year starting, he was making some progress. Miles, Auburn goes back-to-back threes with Janai and then Miles. So and then Chad Bacon Lasagna almost got himself a steal. Ohio State with some nifty passing and a pump fake to get in there and almost equalize. Matthew R. fired up, says, let's get that W. And then CJ says, Janai is the king of no yes shots. Too many threes, I think. I mean, he's not a bad three-point shooter. He's just an okay three-point shooter, but, whatever. This is what the staff likes for him to do. And Auburn paying a lot of attention to defensive rebounding, which was something they did very, very well in the last game. And I feel like when Auburn puts its head focused on being a good rebounding team, then it's a very good rebounding team. But sometimes they get a little lax. Love that anticipatory pass from Dylan to Miles Kelly coming off that flex cut. Really nice pass. And it's such a mature pass, you know what I mean? Like, that's a pass that he doesn't make 2 years ago. He probably doesn't even attempt it. He doesn't see it happening. Henri had an interesting piece on the site the other day about Janai's passing and how much it's improved. I think Henry does such an amazing job of going really, really deep with video and all that kind of stuff. That little curl, little flex cut curl, sweet pass, and a nice finish, of course. Splash. I like that. Travis J with us today. Says, what it do, War Eagle? What's up, Travis J? Glad to have you here, bro. Had a good night last night. My wife. Oh, look at the spin move from Janai. He's taking people to the hizzle. He's 80% with his left hand. You guys know that. You can believe that. Had a good time last night. My wife had the Christmas party for her workplace here at the house. I was told to get the hell out, so that was cool. I was gone 3 or 4 hours. But when I got back, they were karaokeing. It was toward the end of the karaoke session, I guess. And so your boy got on the mic and broke out Boys in the Hood, which they accredited to Eazy-E, but I thought it was NWA, but whatever. Belted that out and felt pretty good about it. It was a good rendition. Let's see. Ephesians says, Coach Hugh Freeze is going to get his guys that he wants because it's his job on the line. So why do some Auburn fans have a problem with it? I think it's just kind of Auburn fans are bitter for very good reason. Auburn is not the kind of program that goes into 4 consecutive losing seasons, and I think there's a frustration that he doubled down on Peyton last year, and Peyton was pretty clearly not awesome, and Tahad Pettiford with a 3-ball. I really wish I could do these splash sounds, but with my sound thing not working. Damn you. I can do it manually, though. This is for Tahad. Splash. Auburn definitely getting it done on the defensive end right now. It's probably been 4 or 5 empty possessions for Ohio State now, and Auburn's been scoring on the other end. So all of a sudden, this game that was close just a minute ago is now in danger of going into a double-digit lead for the Auburn Tigers. Auburn's running screens right in the midline today. If you remember 2 games ago against Duke, they did a lot of like what I call corner left-hander. I'm telling you, Janai with his left hand, he might be better than 80%. Auburn is doing a lot of corner screens and DHO action coming out of the corner against Duke, and now they're going more midline against this team. Auburn is really causing problems as they do with their length up top, and it really cuts off the passing lanes. Ohio State's having a really hard time getting the ball distributed. There's a little block action from Miles Kelly. I don't know, debatable foul call there, but we don't know. Question. There was one about the Raiders. GW says next Raiders quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. It could be. The way I look at it, it's been a great season. We're leading the standings. We're leading the entire NFL in the tankathon because we're number 1 right now. If the season were over today, we would have the number 1 pick, and I'm sure we would take Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. I don't know which one. I don't know if those guys are going to be good or not. I have questions about them. But I have serious questions about what we got right now, which is a injured Gardner Minshew and injured Aiden O'Connell. We're playing the Rizzler. Let's see what else. CJ says, "Hey Jay, will there be a shindig this year for Christmas at yours?" Not that I know of. That'd probably be a Courtney question, but no, I don't know of anything like that. I mean, she just had this one for KinderCare today, and then or last night, I should say, and we're running out of time, I guess. So no. We didn't do a auburnsports.com one this year, which I think is probably where you guys were hanging. So maybe next year. We'll see how it goes. R. Stews, my man, what's up? Do you have this feeling this is the best Auburn basketball team of all time? The coaching and players just fit anyways. Happy Saturday and War Eagle. What's up, R. Stews? Yeah, I think at this point in the season, this is the most talented team they've had, the deepest team they've ever had. You don't necessarily know that you've got two, all-decade NBA players with Barkley and the Rifleman. So I don't know if it has that top-end star power, but on the college level, with Janai being such an incredible college player, and you got guys like Tahad, who I think is going to be an incredible college player if he's not already, and you've got a bunch of role players that just know their place and fit the mold, Yeah, I think this is the best. This is certainly the best Auburn team I have covered. I've been covering Auburn since '98. I was here for the Porter years, start to finish. Let's see. Chip says, Ms. Chip, she's a sneaky one, man. She seems very mild-mannered and, very mild-mannered, and then every now and then she'll just let you know that she's not as mild-mannered as you think she is. Was going line for line with the Humpty Dance last night. I tried to do the Humpty Dance on our machine, and it said it was copyright blocked. I have no idea. How could you do that? I also couldn't sing Never There by Cake, which I really thought I could belt out too, but that was blocked also. Anyway, Humpty Dance. Everything is coming up Humpty. I'd love to hear her do that. Tim says, Cam saying quarterback play has been ass for a long time. Yeah. Is what needed to be said by someone other than regular fans. Well, I'm glad he said it then, because he's 100% accurate. I mean, I hesitate to call Peyton ass. I don't think he was ass. I think he was okay. I mean, he wasn't a walking calamity out there, but he wasn't. I tell him, step off. I'm doing the hump. Chris Evans says the Humpty Dance is your chance to do the hump. Oh, do it, baby. Our Stu says 99 with Doc. Chris Porter was so much fun, and then lost to Ohio State in the second round. Broke my basketball heart. My biggest memory of that game, which they played in Knoxville, my computer, these is back when we had hard drives. My hard drive crashed on my laptop, and I was flipping. Actually, to take it back, it didn't crash. It corrupted. So I had to rebuild it. Like literally sitting there on press row in the middle of the game, like one of the biggest moments of the entire year from me, sports writing perspective, and my computer's on the fritz, and I was like, no, how can this happen to me? And I was able to get just enough done where I could type up a story and get it out, but that was freaking out bad. So I have to say I wasn't watching that game as closely as I should have been. So I was trying to get my computer going. But anyway, that team was loaded with Doc and Bryant Smith, Chris Porter, of course. Look at that, another splash. You had Scotty P in the corner. Of course, you had Abe Smith coming off the bench. Let's see, 99. I guess they would have had Chiliest coming off the bench. Mamadou. No one knows you like your Mamadou. Running 24's fired up, says a quarterback and now a running back. It's been a day. Now get that left tackle. I'm with you, man. That left tackle's a bad man. I did my Chaney got up in the air on that one. I did my beast list. You guys probably saw it for the transfer guys, and I had Jackson Arnold 3. I had Darrell more like 7 or 8, just because I don't know. He looks fine to me. He looks like a good player. But the left tackle for me, I had at number 4. I've got the safety from Jacksonville State, number 1. I think that guy is a dominator. I think that guy might be the best safety. If he were to come to Auburn, I think he'd be the best safety Auburn's had in a while. And my number 2 is the defensive end, or the Buck, I should say, from Coastal. Clev Lubin. I am super high on this kid. I don't necessarily know that everybody feels that way about him, but I just think I love the story. I love, him coming from this, New York area where he's not recruited very highly, and he's kind of like half tailback, half linebacker, and goes to Army. And I just love these stories, man, of people that just kind of work their way up. He was an absolute badass at Coastal last year. Janai, we can't even say 80% anymore. It's 85%. I love the way he worked himself up at Coastal and dominated there. He was really good. I think he could be the answer at that position, at least for a year or two. I still like some of the things they're doing, particularly with Jamonte Waller. I like him a lot. I know he didn't play a lot this year, but I still think he's a G. Nice trailing block from who? Chris Moore. Of course, Mr. Defense. We got a super chat coming through from Sir Stu Pup. My man, he's super chatted us, I think, every show we've ever done. He's at the game, just lurking. War Eagle, everybody. Appreciate you, Stu Pup. I need to give you an applause for that one, G. Auburn just got another bucket while I was blabbing right there, and a little timeout action from the Ohio State Buckeyes. That means that it's time for us to get some fresh, hot stats. With Auburn crushing Ohio State, as GW said, they're cutting the brake lines on these turds. And so I'm going to get you some hot, fresh stats coming up in a matter of seconds, as soon as JG can get this pulled over, because I've been kind of working on stuff since early this morning. And I'm a little bit out of sorts, but I'm fired up to be doing basketball. I love basketball. It's kind of like my passion, honestly. I grew up in a basketball household. My mom and dad were both, at the time, Louisville fans because they met at University of Louisville. So we paid a lot of attention to them. And I later became kind of a Kentucky sympathist. Although those days are long since over. Let's look at some of these numbers. I love assist-to-turnover ratio. 4 assists to 0 turnovers for the Auburn Tigers. That is what you love to see right there. And 1 assist and 2 turnovers for Ohio State, which isn't terminal, but it's, from an Auburn perspective, you like to see it. 9 of 14 from the floor for the Auburn Tigers. 4 of 6 from 3. Churning and burning right there, guys. That's pretty much best case scenario. And points per possession is almost 1.7. That's ridiculous. We like to shoot for anywhere in the 1.25 range or better, so they're way over that. We've got a Heisman ceremony tonight. I did vote. I was certainly one of the last people to vote. They had to call me to remind me. I always expect to vote after the Army-Navy game because that's always when we vote, and so I know when that game's going on, which I will watch and pull for Navy, of course. Then I know it's time to fill out my Heisman ballot. Well, because of the way the schedule was this year, oh my God, a long shot from Denver. Oh, my gosh, that's not the sound I meant to hit. Denver just deposited another 3. And Auburn is just absolutely on fire from the floor right now. They're 5 of 7 from 3-point range. It's getting insane out here. Wow. So anyway, I did vote. I can't tell you how I voted, but I will tell you after they announce it. But I also will tell you that I didn't take any risks with that one. I did think about voting for the Indiana quarterback because they came out of nowhere and he played really well for them, but it was hard to justify that because Dylan Gabriel had great stats, Cam Ward had great stats, Shadur had great stats. AU Taxman says, what channel is the game on? It's supposed to be on the Deuce, but I'm watching it on the U right now because that Clemson and Memphis game went to overtime somehow. I don't know how in the world that happened. Tahad just schooled pretty much the entire Ohio State team and missed a layup. And then he almost got a steal. So that's a very Tahad Pettiford segment there. Looks like they're going to have a media timeout again. I'm probably just going to leave these stats and play. No, fuck it. Auburn had a 3, so it might as well if they're improved. Let's take a gander at the latest stats. We need to have like a stats presenting sponsor. Stats presented by Tesla. Hey now. Hot, fresh stats coming right up. Auburn absolutely on fire from the floor, guys. This is insane. I can't remember them being this hot to start a game. They've had some really good starts this season, too. That's nothing new for them, but good God. 10 of 16 from the floor, 5 of 7 from 3. 9 boards, including 8 on the defensive end. 5 assists, 0 turnovers is amazing. And they're just absolutely balling right now. This offense is in beast mode. 1.667 points per possession. This is looking really good. Chris M says stats presented by Doc Dumpster. When a Philly is all you need. Let's see. Tim was asking, is Hugh going to simplify our RPO scheme for Jackson Arnold? I saw somebody say that they thought he was dumb. I don't know if that's really what you're saying. I don't understand that, really. I don't know where that idea is coming from, but I just lost my cable feed, if anyone cares. It's kind of a problem. Let me work on this for a second. It's not good. That's not good. That's not good. I'm not happy. All right, got it. Sorry, guys. My bad on that. Yeah. It kind of went dead on me there. Look at this. One of the true Montgomery legends, Quan, jumps in with a super chat. Says, Crampton Bowl tonight. Salute to Vets Bowl. And go Navy, my man. He's on both sides. Me and him are together on both sides of this one. Go Navy for sure. And, of course, South Alabama, taking on, I believe, Western Michigan tonight in the Salute to Vets Bowl, formerly known as the Camellia Bowl, inside Crampton Bowl. I think toe meets leather at 8 tonight, I think. And we'll definitely be pulling for the Jags big time. It's going to be hashtag Jagoff24. And my bar buddies, Shane and Taryn, are going to be there too, partying, I'm sure. Because they love nothing more than being out in the cold weather at Crampton Bowl. Did we see Locked On here? We did. There he is. He says, why are we talking about the Hut? This is Bruce time, my man. Give an applause for that one. It is basketball time. I was just, kind of, I know what the problem is. They switched it back to ESPN too. That's what happened to me. There we go. I'll sit there and go, man, this is a long commercial break. Dumbass. All right, so we're back to ESPN 2. Look at that. Lainey Marie Pearl. Another grandbaby. He's getting to be an old man, isn't he? I can't tell any difference with him, honestly. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, he don't seem a lot older to me than he used to be. He looks older, but he's not. 8 p.m., Quan reminds me about the toe meeting leather for the South Alabama bowl game. Let's see, Taxman himself, a proud Samford supporter, says they're up to 80 in the net, even without Achor. Who's now, he was at Kansas State, and he got kicked off the team. Dismissed summarily. Look at Chris Moore snatching that rebound. Double clutch the pass, though, and that's where you get into trouble. Don Properdickin. He has paid the long-distance bill to be able to chat with us from Maastricht, Holland. We're glad to have you here, Don. You're an absolute Don. There's no doubt about it. CJ's fired up to have Nike logos on the Auburn unis next year. That does go into effect in the summertime, where Auburn transitions away from Under Armour and into the Nike world. Something that, I'm kind of looking forward to as well. I think the good Nike gear to me is better than, or it has eclipsed once again, Under Armour. I think Under Armour had a really nice run there. What was it, 15 years ago, 10 years ago? But it just kind of fell off or something. I'm not sure about the story on that. I'm not a Under Armour sympathist, nor am I an owner of their stock or anything, but it seems like that to me. Of course, Nike's had their own troubles, certainly on the market, trying to maintain their market share with a lot of niche companies coming after them like Lululemon and Athletica and that kind of stuff. Look at Tahad going the whole way. Oh, he's not 80% with his left hand. He is not. It doesn't matter. 25-10 is a nice situation for Auburn, 1/4 of the way through this game. Playing some terrific defense, honestly. Ohio State fans will say, well, we're just not shooting well, but I haven't seen a lot of good opportunities, to be fair with you. Auburn's been all over them. Now, on that long inbounds pass, Auburn did not handle that very well, right as I compliment them. They come around and make a defensive error like that. All right, so Tahad getting a lot of minutes here at the point, which I think everybody in this chat is going to be happy to see. You've also got JPP out there. Let's see if JPP can kind of wake up a little bit. We keep waiting for that. There's a bad pass right there from JPP. Tahad trying to do a little too much. Kind of a weird shot. I think there was plenty of time left. I like Tim says, wallet standing by. Got it. Yeah, we're all going to have to retool the clothing situation, right? Transition away from the Under Armour stuff. It's going to be really passé by the time you get to game day next year. Like, who are these goobs wearing Under Armour stuff? Oh, Dylan with a nice blah, 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 blah block. Again, Auburn's playing some ferocious defense. Honestly, rebounding's been really good. They've had some blocks. And Ohio State just looks completely unable to really get its offense flowing, largely because Auburn's so good at getting into shooting lanes. Passing lanes, I should say, and just the length and the speed is crazy. Feel Like a Stranger says this is a weird lineup we're running. You got JPP, Tahad, Simo, Dylan. Kind of short on scorers, aren't you? Who am I missing on this lineup? So you got JPP. Oh, Jakai's out there now. They just made a switch. Jakai just airballed a shot. This is home base for Jakai. I mean, he would probably tell you he's from Boston, but he played at overtime elite in Atlanta. Interesting to me that Jakai's been playing here the last few games, but we've only seen Turtle a little teeny bit. He was like garbage time in the last game, and he played one shift, I think, 2 or 3 games ago, and that's all we've seen. I know Turtle's not like some superstar player, but the stuff that I saw during the summer and the fall in practice, I liked him. I thought he had some real ability. He's a good shooter for somebody, because he's kind of like a bulldozer 4, but he can step out and hit a 3. Let's see. Solo Tigre talking about he's been out there for a few minutes. Talking about Turtle. I haven't seen him out here today, and Jakai's already been subbed off. They're back into full power mode here. Let's see. Ephesians says, you are ahead of my stream right now, and I've never been more okay with that JG commentary over anyone. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. GW says, I'm telling you, JGT, Dylan Cardwell will be the next Antonio Gates, talking about a player who played college basketball, I should say, and then transitioned to become a very good, in Antonio Gates' case, tight end professionally. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. I just don't think Dylan's going to do that. I think he really wants to enjoy this season and get into the ministry. Oh, Jakai trying to stop that dunk and came closer than I thought he would, but wisely did not foul him in the failed attempt to block the dunk. No, Solo Tigre, my bad, bro. I see what you're saying now. You were talking about Jakai the whole time, and I was talking about Turtle the whole time. That was my fault. A contested three from Janai that doesn't even touch the rim. This is, guys, it just kills me to see this. We've got the most dominating paint presence in the entire college game. He's out here jacking up threes. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's almost like Auburn saying it's just too easy with him, you know? Like it's like you get tired of feeding Janai in the post because he just scores all the time, and then you're like, yeah, we win by 30 and he scores 25. It's boring. Chad Bacon Lasagna trying to take somebody one-on-one dribbling with his back to him. It's not going to work. Auburn's slowing it down a little bit, which is the case often when JPP is the one with the ball in his hands. Looks like they're going to take that 8-minute media timeout here at the 6:50-ish mark. So we will go ahead and run some hot, fresh stats and take a look and see what these statistical markers are looking like. I got a pretty good idea what they look like on the offensive end. Auburn is slowed down just a little bit scoring-wise. Yeah, considerably, actually. Their points per possession has dropped precipitously in the last 5 minutes. But I think it's just been kind of like, I don't think it's anything Ohio State's done. I think Auburn's just gotten a little weird. I mean, these weird shots from Janai I find odd and off-putting. Let's see, Auburn Tigers, who were at 5 assists and 0 turnovers earlier, now at 5 assists and 3 turnovers. Ohio State's level, 2 assists and 2 turnovers. Auburn's shooting 10 of 21, which has cooled off significantly. 5 of 9 from 3. Auburn was 5 of 7 at one point. 1.36 points per possession, which is now below par. We'd like to see anywhere like in the 1.25 range or better. I would consider everything's going fine. They're below that now. But Ohio State at .636 would be devastating if they finished like that. They would be running some extra sprints after practice if they did that, I think. Points in the paint are even. Points off turnovers are basically even. Fast breaks, basically even. And bench is really not indicative of anything at this point in the game. So Auburn I think the story of the game was that Auburn was shooting incredibly well to open this game, and it's been pretty even the last 6 minutes or so. Yeah, I feel like a stranger says it better than I should have, could have, or did. Losing focus. Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like to me. Again, I think they get bored with Janai being so good, you know? I honestly think that actually happens. Hayden thinks JPP is awful. Yeah, he's been bad. I don't even know what to say, man. It just surprised me. I didn't think he would. I didn't think it would be like this. Anthony R, my man, says, "What's good, JG? You got your QB. We need O lineman. Yes, need that left tackle from Virginia Tech. I think he's really good, and I think he's exactly what Auburn needs. Now, I don't know if you saw this, Anthony, but Auburn did pick up Darrell Robinson, the tailback from UConn, like in the last hour. So that's a big plus, and add some depth at a key position. Obviously, I am a big fan of Jeremiah Cobb. I think he's going to be really good as a number one option at tailback. There are some people in the bunker whose opinions I care about and I respect who don't think that Jeremiah's got that in him. And so we'll see. But one thing's for sure, Auburn's not going to have a ton of size at tailback next year. Jeremiah, to me, is about average size. He's like Carnell-sized. Then Damari's a little smaller than average. Darrell's probably average. And then the young man from Elba, Alvin Henderson, is not particularly big either. Think of him as like a slasher. But you do have some guys there that can accelerate and, score the football. For sure. Also love to see this promotion about Dick Vitale, who recently noted on Twitter that he is cancer-free again, which we love to see. And I'm not sure anyone in the history of college basketball, at least in the modern era, has done as much for college basketball, promoting the game itself, than Dickie V. Of course, I'm 52 years old, and I came, online, so to speak, watching college basketball in the mid-'80s, and he was the guy at ESPN. Oftentimes, you'd also think about him with the Duke and the UNC games when they had Jeff Capel and J.R. Reed and all those dudes, that Jeff Lebo character. Eric Montross. Auburn getting a little sloppy now on the attacking end. I'm sure BP's had enough of it. He's probably getting pieced. Let's see. Ephesians says TWR, meaning the War Report, is not going to like the Arnold pickup. What do you mean by that? Those guys love it when Auburn does well. Oh, wow. Yes. AU Taxman says, speaking of cancer, prayers up for Ryan Sandberg, who I did not know had cancer, and Randy Moss, who said that he has one, I believe, in his bile duct. I saw that it was between his pancreas and his liver, which is good that it wasn't either one of those. But I guess that's in an area, right-handed shot from Janai. That's in an area where you don't want stuff going wrong. So definitely. Randy Moss, probably the best college wideout I ever saw. Playing at Marshall, just insane. And ended up being a terrific pro, too. Maybe didn't have quite the Auburn with another steal on the defensive end. Maybe didn't have quite the peak that I thought he would. You know, I mean, he was really good for like 2 or 3 years, and you thought he might have been good for 10. But he's still a stud. GW says, many forget Saban built Bama by recruiting linemen with very little focus on skill positions. He always had a good quarterback, though. He always had a quarterback that was not turnover prone and kept things going on the offensive end, which is something Auburn hasn't really had of late. But I do respect Auburn pushing it on the line. I think they know, the staff knows they've got to make up ground there. And some of it their own fault and some of it Harson's fault. And I don't even know if you can blame Gus anymore, but it just seemed like there was this inertia, you know, where Gus didn't give a shit about offensive line recruiting, and Harson either didn't give it, well, he just didn't give a shit, period. And now he was trying to make it right. But I think it's kind of a late reaction, in my opinion. But we did get to see Turtle there on the bench, so he is there doing his thing. And Janai gets one free throw, so it's 28-14. It's like a football score, isn't it? Ohio State getting a little busy with it in the full court, but Auburn was able to squelch that last offensive. And another foul, offensive foul on Ohio State. I think that's 2 possessions wrecked by offensive fouls. Runner 24, maybe he's probably speaking the truth to me. I'm underrating Moss's NFL career. He was pure dominance. I remember him being really good for a period of time and then just kind of like being okay. But I could be wrong. I can't say that. I wasn't a big NFL guy at all. So I would totally defer to you on that. Kanuman says that he once got busy in a Burger King bathroom. I'm crazy. Allow me to amaze thee. Sam H. wants to know, what's up, Sam? Wants to know about the crowd. It looked average-ish. I mean, just it seems like there's more seats than I would have expected, but it looks like everybody there is Auburn. It's probably, a nice distribution, a good crowd for a basketball arena. It's such a big arena. I mean, Auburn's holds, 9,900. This probably holds more like 18,000 or something, so. Melee says, is it too late for JP to get in the portal? That's funny, man. Chad Bacon lasagna with a great rebound there, but really didn't know what to do after it, so he just threw it off a guy's sack, and Auburn got the ball back, so good thinking. I hope that guy's nads are going to be okay. Anytime SEMO's out there, I'm like, what are they doing? Why is he playing more than one shift at a time? You know what I mean? Like, what's he bringing? But either way, hey, man, you're up 29-14. I mean, shoot. Who am I to be fussing over stuff like that, right? Miles Kelly kind of running some de facto point. This is a very tough shot, and you know what he did. Of course you know what he did. Splash. Oh, yeah, he did. That looked like an MJ shot to me, like that zipping around a high screen and just jacking from fucking 28, and just splash city, man. Nah, it went from 28. It was more like 23. Splash City. More defensive rebounding from Auburn and Miles Kelly, the trigger man. Again, that's a heat check right there. I thought that was going to be the Reggie Sharp Tiger Eyes shot right there. Chad Bacon lasagna with another stick back. Auburn, I'm telling you, dude. This is the kind of beating that like Ohio State or any team would just have a hard time dealing with because you're just getting outworked. You're getting outskilled and you're getting outworked, and it's embarrassing. 34-14, guys. Jeez. It's starting to become, I think, the identifying characteristic of this Auburn team is the defensive intensity builds and it waxes and wanes. And when it waxes, they hit you so fast. You know what I'm saying? They'll drop 8 points on you in like 45 seconds. And it's like a game is somewhat competitive, and then zoom, that's another 8 points, and you've gone from down 8 to 16 like that before you even know what happened. Looks like Michi's getting shit on again. Anthony R says, how you feel about Singleton, JG? I love Singleton, depending on how they're going to use him. To me, he's a lot like Ontario McCaleb. He's incredibly fast in a straight line. He's not particularly agile, which Ontario also wasn't. So he's not he's just kind of a Steeler sweep or that kind of a thing. I also like him as a slot receiver when you get the ball to him quickly and then just kind of let him create the way you would have done with Ryan Davis maybe, 5, 6, 7 years ago. So I really like him for that. If they're planning to play him as like a Z receiver, I don't love him there. I like him better as a slot or as a, just a do everything kind of back, scat back. But if they're going to get CJ Daniels to play X and then you play Cam at Z, and then Perry, oh my God, Chad Bacon lasagna with another silly finish, man. It was nice. That's just kind of a ghost foul to me. That's just an effort foul. Just give it to them. These guys are working too hard. You play Perry, you can play either one, X or Z. Kind of cross-train him, and then you play Singleton at slot. I like it. You also have Bryce at slot. You got Malcolm can play slot. So I think they've got a lot of options there. Let's see. Feel Like a Stranger says Jerry Rice was the best NFL receiver I've seen, but Moss was most talented. That's probably the best way to put it. I like Jerry Rice, though. He's awesome, obviously. I probably would have taken Moss over Jerry Rice myself, but Jerry Rice is a stud, too, and he played for the Raiders, so that's the thing. A Chad Mozzarella Bacon. My man. William says, I need to refresh my internet. Are you talking to me? What have I done? Or are you talking to somebody else in the chat? I don't know if I'm behind or ahead or what. I'm watching the game on cable, so I can't really be too far behind here. Melee asks a good question. Is this a bad matchup for Ohio State, or are they just mediocre? I think it's a little bit of both, but it's probably more that they're mediocre. Without Michi Johnson, dude, I don't think they have much. And AU Taxman says there's such a distinct talent difference in these two teams. Anthony R. says, I hope we land the edge rusher from Coastal. He is number 2 on my Beast Index. Are you talking about Clev Lubin? Yes, I love him. I think that intelligent, rational people could also not be super high on him just because you say, hey, he's not super long, he's not super tall, and dominating at Coastal Carolina is not the same thing as dominating at Auburn. Fair enough. I just happen to think this kid's got it, and he could be Nick Coe or he could be Marcus Washington. I think he's one of those two. Nick Coe is probably a little longer, but Marcus Washington from the late 90s at Auburn, who played, they didn't call it Buck back then, but he was kind of a Buck because he played end and linebacker. He ended up playing outside linebacker for the Redskins, a.k.a. the Click Commanders, and he's a hell of a player. I don't know if you guys, some of you younger guys might not know who he is, but he was a bad, bad man. I would love to see it, Anthony. Auburn get Clev Lubin. And I think Poyser from Jacksonville State, he's my number 1 guy in the Beast Index. I think that guy is absolutely gangbusters. I think he's a stud muffin. like first team All SEC type player at safety. Now Auburn's got great safeties coming in, right? I mean, Eric Winters and a new boy are bad boys, and they're going to play together and dominate a lot for a long time. But I really like Poyser. He can cover like a madman, so he's like a free. If you got the other safety they brought in was Tay Seymour from Georgia Tech, who is Singleton's roommate, and they're really good friends. But to me, he's more of a box guy. And I feel like Auburn's got. I mean, Caleb Harris doesn't need to be overlooked. He's a good box safety. I like him. Let's see. Felix says, I work at South, and I'm watching Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. Deuce looks pretty good. My first time seeing him in person. Yeah, he's the TBI, the Tate Beast Index. Thank you, Melee. That's a great idea. Yeah, he's got a little work to do. Deuce does. He's a little, his footwork's a little rough, and but he's long and he's left-handed and he can generate a lot of power. I think he has like a throwing motion that reminds me of Randall Cunningham from the 80s, 90s with the Philadelphia Eagles. And Deuce is such a tall, big dude. Randall Cunningham was tall and long. He just wasn't big necessarily, but he kind of had that he had like a long, like a wind-up motion and zip the ball around the way that Deuce can. So I really like Deuce. Yeah, I don't know how I can be behind, William. I'm literally hitting live. But I am, so I think what happens is that I'm actually where I'm supposed to be. It's just it takes a while for my stuff to transmit to YouTube and then back to you, and it makes me... That's a splat, blah, 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 blash. I'm a little bit behind on Ohio State's last bucket because I don't really care. Those guys are cooked. That's for you, Corey. 39-18 with 3 minutes to go in the first half. Ohio State is being decimated right now. The Auburn Tigers, again, have 3 guys there to defensive rebound. It's been like this the whole game. Ohio State not getting shit for second chance opportunities. Chad Bacon lasagna with another very, very poor decision on a three-pointer, but whatever. He's the best weird shot guy hitter in the country, probably. Yo Malcolm says Deuce is smooth. He is smooth. He is. Like that's what I was talking about with Randall Cunningham. I didn't really say that, but that's kind of what I meant. Just like so, he just kind of glides. I think Deuce is a terrific high school player to pick up. You can't go in the next season thinking that's your guy right there. That's our QB1. Can't do that. But I think it's amazing to have him on campus and let him kind of get in the incubator, so to speak, and improve his footwork and get him a more technically sound quarterback, and I think he can be really good. Darkside says, JG, appreciate the additional content this week. I appreciate you watching it, G. My wife's been on my ass about it, going, you need to do more YouTube stuff. You're really good at YouTube. And I was like, I don't know. But, yeah, I thought this was a good opportunity, and I thank you so much, Darkside, for watching. The numbers were way beyond what Tahad. Splash. He's such a little assassin, dude. I don't think people even... he just kind of looks little, and then he just kills you. I guess Jared was kind of like that. Because Jared was a straight killer, too. Thin guy. Different personalities, though. Jared was, like, so chill. And Tahad is not really chill. He's kind of hyper, but not like Ja'Kai hyper. He's just kind of like Chad Baker lasagna hyper. Oh, my goodness. Denver just went. Splash. Guys, holy cow, man. This is one of those little surges I'm talking about. The defensive rebounding is so good, and they get out, and they just... Ohio State can't even get their defense sorted, and now this game is completely wrecked. I mean, they can hit some threes or whatever. That's fine, but, I mean, they're down so much right now. It's going to take so much effort just to get back into the game that they're going to be tuckered out, and Auburn's going to wax them. Let's see. Kanuman says it really is good. Well done, Commodore. Thank you, Kanuman, for watching that content. I'm trying to make it even better all the time because I need to learn more about video editing, because I do those in one take, which is kind of a talent. Oh, Janai, there was a little goaltend there on Janai's stick back. Or are they going to call a foul? I don't know which one. I got to work on the video editing. I do those in one take, which is kind of a skill in and of itself. But, yeah, I don't know if viewers care if it's a one take or not. Look at Tahad says, yes, sir. Cleveland says, is Ohio State usually this bad at three-point shooting? No. Ohio State's usually a pretty good three-point shooting team, actually. Having a hard time getting that ball inbounded, though. 21:47 is what we got. About a minute left. A little bit under. Chris Moore out there for another shift today. Interesting. Who is he playing for? Is Chaney in foul trouble again? Can't say that I've paid super close attention to those nuanced parts of the game. Chaney does have 2 fouls. Yes. Apparently Miles Kelly has 3. By the way, points, Janai's got 16. Denver's got 12. And Miles Kelly has 8 on 3 of 5 shooting. Auburn is 47% from the floor, 56 from 3. But only 2 of 3 at the line. Not really a officiating issue, though. We've talked before that Auburn is not a team that's going to get a lot of foul calls because they do a lot of jump shooting and stickbacks. I mean, it's just kind of... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Drop. Oh, that was an absolutely filthy... That might have been my favorite alley-oop of the whole year right there. Tahad kind of weaving in traffic, and then he put a forward alley-oop that kind of went over Dylan's head, and then he dunked it. That was insane. The coordination of Dylan, first of Tahad to even see that possibility, and then also, oh, don't call foul on that. Fresh Boy, what's up, bro? I know Fresh Boy's been watching the videos on YouTube that we've been doing. Appreciate you doing that, commenting too. Glad to have you here, my man. And thanks for supporting me by watching that stuff. Almost got it there, buddy. 21:49 is what we got at halftime. The Auburn Tigers, on the attacking end, that's about as good as it gets. I know they had a little bit of a lull in the middle of that period, and to still have 49 points is like, whoa. Because when they were at their peak, they were absolutely just crushing there. Really, really outstanding. I love that, comparing Janai's numbers to Ohio State's entire operation. That is yowzers. Again, I think sometimes they get bored, I think, with how good Janai is, honestly. Because if they just sat there and fed him all the time, like it would just be, I mean, I don't know if anybody would even touch him. Here's the halftime stats. Official, tried, and true. Presented by Tesla. I'm just kidding. They're not actually a sponsor. I wish they were. 49-21. So, yeah, as the ESPN stat was saying, 21 points and 14 boards for Ohio State. Janai has 16 points and 14 boards. He has personally equaled their rebounding total. And he's only, 5 points off their entire total. Another number that sticks out here, and I thought this was unnaturally low to start with, but it stayed there. Points per possession. This is at the bottom right of the entire page there. 0.636 for Ohio State. Almost certainly that's going to be their lowest number for a half this year because that's embarrassing. And Auburn at 1.4, we've said before, 1.25 is where they want to be, and they ended up going above that for the half, so they're happy with that. Ball handling, 9 assists and 4 turnovers. It's crazy to sit there. It's crazy that we're covering a team, watching a team, where 4 turnovers seems like a lot. It does to me. It actually seems like a lot now compared to what they usually do, right? And we have watched Auburn teams in the past. It's been a little while, but maybe 10 years ago that would routinely have 15 to 22 or 23 turnovers a game. And now I bet we're not going to see 20 turnovers in a game this entire year from this team. Ball handling for Ohio State, 2 assists and 5 turnovers. You like to see it. 2 assists for an entire half is insane. Of course, they only hit 6 buckets, but nonetheless, Auburn with double-digit offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds. That is definitely getting it done. And I struggle to find any statistical marker here that does not encourage me from an Auburn perspective. The 2 of 3 from the line, maybe a little bit. And you say, well, Auburn got called for 10 personal fouls and Ohio State only 5. How does that happen? Well, Auburn's not really pushing. The way you get foul calls on the offensive end is you attack. You drive downhill. You have them challenge you when you go up for your shot or whatever. And Auburn doesn't really attack that way, right? Auburn's a jump shooting team. They've got a lot of guys on the perimeter that will knock you out. Denver's absolutely killing him today. Miles Kelly does a lot of that. Chad Bacon-Lasagna does a lot of that. Tahad does a lot of that. These are guys that roll off screens high and shoot threes. Well, that's very rarely a foul situation. It is on occasion, but it's rare. I think that BP would like to have his team attack downhill a little bit more often because he has the skill to do that. He has guys that can do that, but in a game like this, it doesn't really matter. I do think Auburn has the ability to shapeshift and kind of attack in different ways depending on what the opponent's doing or not doing. So I'm not tripping about it yet, but when they start playing some of these really rough and tumble ball clubs like Tennessee or Kentucky or Texas A&M, they're going to have to drive more. And so we'll see how that goes. Some of the other numbers here in the bottom right, points in the paint, Auburn's up 10. 20-10 on that one. Points off turnovers is 8-2 in favor of Auburn. Of course, Auburn definitely getting back on defense. They learned that lesson. They kind of practiced that lesson for the North Carolina game because they were very, very concerned about Carolina's ability to snap back and transition. And it seems like ever since then, Auburn's been covering that a lot better. Second chance points, 11 points for Auburn, 2 for them. Auburn's defensive rebounding has been probably as good as we've seen all season. They're allocating at least 2 and usually 3 toward challenging for rebounds on the defensive end, so that's really limiting Ohio State's ability to get those second chance opportunities, those stickbacks, and they just don't have the size really to make much of a dent here. I think there are teams out there, longer teams like Tennessee, that will challenge Auburn more when it comes to stickbacks and stuff like that, but I think this is a good practice to take on a team like Ohio State that doesn't have a lot of height and still kind of practice, hey, boxing out, spatial awareness on the defensive end, that kind of a thing. I think it's smart to keep doing that. See, Plexican asks, is Tennessee really as good as us, or is it because they haven't played anyone? That's a great question, Plex. Let me take a gander at the Tennessee Vols right here, and I'll pull it up for you guys. Somebody already logged me out, goobers. Let's take a look at Tennessee's schedule here. We'll just take a... Yeah, I think this will work right here. It's going to say screenshot on the I'm going to go ahead and knock this off for the moment. And this is Tennessee's snapshot here, okay? So let's see. Gardner Webb, Louisville's ass, Montana's ass, Austin Peay's ass, Virginia's ass. Baylor's good. Beat them pretty handily. UT Martin, Syracuse, Miami. Yeah, not really much of note going on there. This game against Illinois ought to be a good one. And they've got a pretty good start to the SEC season with Calipari's Arkansas team, then Florida, Texas. Georgia's better. Vanderbilt's a lot better. They're not trash anymore. Mississippi State's been really good. So it's crazy, man, to think that the SEC is now the highest rated league in the country. I mean, SEC in basketball. Remember when Mike Slive had to sit down with them? Maybe what is that 15 years ago now? Maybe 12. And said, you guys have to start investing in basketball because this can't just be a football conference with the new conference television package. We've got to be a conference that provides entertaining sport competition all year long. It can't just be in the fall. We got to have basketball. We got to have golf, whatever. We got to have stuff going on all the time. And Auburn certainly did their part in investing in Pearl and the arena and all that kind of stuff. Kanuman asks, where is Coach Hunter? I hope he's enjoying the hell out of his day is what I hope, man. Chip says, break lines cut. Ohio State barreling down a hill towards a cliff. Proverbially, of course. Plexican, my long story short on that one is I think Tennessee's pretty good, yeah. We're going to find out more. I'd like to see them in this Illinois game, but they look pretty good. These statistical markers are really good, and I think they're defensively, they're 2. And I'm trying to look on defensively. The number 1 team in the country is Duke, as we learned. Although Auburn did pretty well against Duke, honestly. I mean, they scored 78 points on their ass at their place. By the way, Auburn's upcoming schedule, we've got Georgia State midweek inside Neville, and then you got the game in Birmingham next weekend against the hated Purdue Boilermakers. And then Monmouth, and then you're right into SEC play on the 4th of January against the hated Missouri Tigers. A decent opening stanza there for the Tigers, though, because they've got Missouri, Texas, Carolina, Mississippi State, Georgia, and then they got Tennessee on January 25th. So they've got some time there before you take it on the Titans, which would be Tennessee, Florida, Alabama. And Auburn's got to play Alabama twice this year. So Taxman says this Auburn team is really good at limiting three-point shots. That is absolutely true. Let me get Tennessee off of here. I don't want that to be confusing to anybody. This is back to Auburn's box score for this game. Auburn has great length and depth, and I think it really affects things defensively now. I mean, Denver's a great on-ball defender. Tahad's just a pest. Miles Kelly's got the long arms that shuts down passing lanes. Chad Bacon-Lasagna's got the long arms that shut down passing lanes. And I think these teams, these mortal teams, have a really difficult time distributing the ball thoughtfully on the attacking end because the passes aren't there. Duke, if you remember early in that game, had a lot of trouble with Auburn's defensive length, and they were able to kind of mitigate that by running double screens and just getting Auburn moving a lot, and it kind of got them out of sorts. Although Auburn ended up being, I don't know, I thought they had a nice adjustment also. I thought Auburn played great in the Duke game, honestly. They lost by 6, but and gave up a few too many points, but I still liked it. Let's see, Stu Pup says, outside of that J.J. Pegues and Howard shift, that was absolute basketball perfection. It pretty much was on the attacking end, right? They had the one little lull, which coincided with the adjustment you're talking about personnel-wise, but really, really good half. And to go 1.4 points per possession is really good. Small Victory says, feels like Mark Sears and Zakai Ziegler will be there forever, like Bako from North Carolina. Yeah, ZZ Top has been, seriously, it feels like he's been there 7 or 8 years. And Mark Sears, too, and he transferred. He had a whole career, he had a whole life before he got to Alabama. Auburn liked its other options better than Mark Sears at the time. Of course, he's the SEC Player of the Year now, so I guess in retrospect, that probably wasn't the best assessment ever, but Auburn also has had some really good players as well. Jay wants to know what we think about J.J. Pegues overall, guys. Let's be nice here. We're a little less than enthused by what he's brought to the team, I think it's fair to say, Jay. By the way, cool name. I like that. Satoshi says this team has to be Final Four or bust. You changed your name again on me, didn't you? You went from Plexican. Yeah, that's kind of, well, let's say Elite 8 or bust. Because it's so much about matchups when you get into March Madness. Like, there's certain teams you have trouble with. I think Auburn would have a difficult time with a really rough team that plays like sloppy basketball and just wants to punch you and rebound. I don't know that Auburn would be great against that team. There aren't many teams like that out there, so I like Solo Tigre says he's my favorite Wildcat quarterback ever. That's my guy right there. J.J. Pegues, of course, Melee. Yes, I know who you guys are talking about, and I'm just out here babbling. When I see Pegues, I guess I just think of J.J., the now Ole Miss Rebel, but former Auburn tight end / defensive lineman / Wildcat quarterback. Left-handed, 85%. Melee will take JJJ over JPP. I'll take JJP over JPP. Yeah, you know me. These commercials where guys give girls diamonds from K Jewelers. They always give me the skeeves, man. I don't know why. They kind of make it look so simple. Like, hey, man, just go out there and buy your girl a big-ass diamond ring and everything's fine. And you go over there, as a naive 19-year-old or 20-year-old like I was, and I'm like, oh, I got an extra $600. Maybe I can do something. And they go, get the fuck out of here. That's going to be $5,000. And you're like, what? Oh, what? What are you talking about, bro? Solo Tigre says Rebel Land Shark Black Bear. Yeah, I know. They get mad when you do that. So I don't mess with them with that stuff. I used to call them the fighting Admiral Akbars and all that stuff, but they get mad about it. And I respect it. I mean, they're rebels. That's what they are. Like it would be like people doing the War Eagles thing to us, like whatever. Like, I mean, when people do it, I know they're like amateurs. You know what I mean? Like it's amateur hour when you're calling Auburn the War Eagles, or you're doing the hey, what are you thing? Like, Jesus, guys, what is 1985? Like, and their old timers like Archie probably like, Jesus, guys, what is this? 1958? You know what I mean? Like the oldest gag in the book or whatever. I don't know. How you guys feeling about Jackson Arnold, though? I think the bunker's pissed. They seem kind of like vaguely angry about it, which is not surprising. It's on brand. But I think it's a pretty good pickup. I mean, I think he's the best guy available in the portal. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he's the great quarterback. That just means he's the best guy available. I think he has untapped potential. We're talking about a 5-star recruit here who had he was going against some weird situations in Oklahoma. I mean, he's dealing with an unbelievable loss of talent at wideout. And it's hard to be a great quarterback when your wideouts are just poop, Taxman with the truest statement made today. Bunker will be pissed about anything. That is 100% true. And that's a guy who bunks right there, by the way. All Trade says he likes Jackson Arnold. I do too. I don't love him, but I like him. The lack of deep throwing gets me concerned. But again, here I am. I can't talk out of both sides of my mouth here. I can't, on one hand, say, hey, he was up against it by having a crappy situation at wideout, and then be like, well, he wasn't completing enough passes downfield. Well, Taxman says, again, level-headed. That's what we love about him. How can you not get excited about a quarterback who's talented and fits the offense? I do think that that's a really good statement that I probably didn't even take into account enough when I was doing my pros and cons piece on the video that I posted earlier today, that he fits the offense best. He does. Yes, he's a runner. He can run. He's absolutely an attacker with the ball in his hands. But I'm with Tim, too. He says he's been hurt too many times by Auburn quarterback play. I just need, I need someone to actually turn out to be at least as good as, if not better than we thought he would be. I mean, the last quarterback, in my opinion, that did that was Nick Marshall. And I had pretty high expectations for Nick, honestly, having gone out to Kansas to see him play, to talk to him, to interview his star wideout who never became anything, Tyreek Hill, and then I had pretty high hopes for him. And, the funny thing about it is that Kyle Frazier was like the heir apparent at Auburn before Nick Marshall signed on. And when I went out there, and me and Hoke did a bunch of – Hoke used to work here, for those of you who were younger. He used to work with me here. We went out to Kansas together and did a big thing on Nick. We did interviews and video interviews and all that kind of shit. And then Kyle Frazier's dad was livid. So mad at me. He was like, how could you possibly go out there and pump up this kid when Kyle's about to take over and, whatever. And I mean, Robin's a good dude, but Robin Beach was Kyle's dad. And I was just like, I'm just doing the job, bro. You know what I mean? Let's see. All Trades says he's going to be better than Thorne, LOL. I agree with that. Absolutely. And, hey, if he's not, we'll be getting a new coach. So it's all good. Good attitude. I like that. All Trades. Someone mentioning, sorry, I didn't see the name. I will get it here in just a second. Taxman said Hill was a character red flag, though. The Auburn coaching staff certainly thought so, yes. I didn't know anything about him at the time. me and Hoke didn't know who the hell he was. I mean, he wasn't anybody yet, you know. He's just some kid playing in junior college, but we could tell he could play. It was very obvious, and Auburn was an immediate no on that one. They were just like, "Now we're good." I was like, "What, is he too fast or whatever that?" Dylan with a nice little tip slam off a little miss from Miles Kelly, and Auburn draws first blood in the second half. Tim says, I feel like we can't ever get quarterback right. You see quarterbacks from other schools throwing darts, and our guy always struggles. It does seem that way, right? Dude, Lenora Sellers this year, I was like, this guy? Really? Like, because, in the spring game, I watched their spring game because I wanted to see how Robbie was going to do. And Lenora Sellers is out there, and he's got goggles on, and you're like, what is this, James Worthy? Like, what are you doing? And he ends up being a stud, dude. And you're sitting there going, wait, Auburn's got 4 quarterbacks, and they don't have anybody as good as Lenora Sellers? Like, really? How does this happen, And so that's kind of that's what you're talking about, Tim. Not necessarily Lenore's directly, but just the concept of how do these teams, there you go, defensive rebounding again, have so many guys that are better than everybody Auburn's got. Tumor's Corner says, where can we watch at? We are currently on ESPN2. It started on ESPNU, but they switched it back over. It's been a while now, so that's where I would be. Whoa! Drop! Alley-oop from Janai to Sir. We're going to start calling him Sir. Sir Dylan Cardwell, and he has opened the second half. Dylan has with back-to-back dunkskis. They just hit a 3. We'll go ahead and give him credit for it. Why not? James Worthy. You know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, Charles, who's the power forward for the Bulls? Horace Grant. My bad. Horace Grant. Wearing those goggles. Denver. He has kind of a flick with his 3, doesn't he? Like at the end of his shot, it's kind of like a... So he misses one. Auburn gets an offensive rebound. They feed it back over to Miles, and he really missed that shot badly. What a great look from Janai. Most people would just go up with it there at 8 feet, but he's like, no, I can give it to somebody who's going to hit it at 6 inches, or he's going to hit it right on the rim. They got another bucket. That bucket for Ohio State was kind of a lack of defensive positioning for Auburn. This is where Auburn gets into a little bit of a lull. This looks like an NBA. Has kind of an NBA feel to it right now on the Auburn attacking end. They're just kind of like shooting threes, and Janai's doing all the work. Melee notes that he's apparently a mathematician. We're going to start calling him Rene Descartes. That Ohio State 3 was 12% of their entire point total, my man. So CJ has concerns that Dylan's tip slam is going to be taken off the board for goaltending. Tumors, very nice of you to say. How much longer are you going to do the recruiting series? Best podcast. I think I'm going to keep doing it, bro. I know the portal's going to only be open for a finite period of time, but I'm going to find a way to turn that into something that we can, do all the time. We'll probably have to change, the tenor or the subject matter. I mean, we can go into basketball with it, not now, but later, and we can continue to do football stuff. I think there's ways to do it. And I enjoy doing it, and I think that based on the video numbers, people enjoy watching it, and I'm very grateful for that. So we'll just keep doing it and try to grow it, make it even better. Maybe we'll have guests on and shit like that. That'd be cool. All Trade says it's a great podcast. Thank you so much, brother. That's really all on my wife because she really, really pushed me to do that. Which is kind of a recurring theme in my entire life because I really think if I hadn't met her and she wasn't my wifey and she wasn't still here all these years later, that I would just be like a blob sitting in a couch just sad and lonely. I honestly think that's the truth. CJ, thank you for noting that it is a short podcast. I one of the funny things when I first started in journalism, my instructor Maria Braden, who's now passed away, was always like, "It's so easy to be a verbose journalist, but the best ones are the ones that can keep it concise and take a complex issue and turn it into a very digestible, easily readable, conversational piece of writing." Which sounds really easy to do. It took me decades to learn how to do that. And I have talked about it with, Jay Lee is somebody who worked in newspapers for a long time, too. I got a ton of respect for Jay Lee for various reasons, but that's one of them. And he's a guy that understands the thrift of words. And so thank you, CJ. I try to keep it really tight. Because some people just don't have all day to listen to, an hour and a half ramble. I certainly don't. But I think some people will be willing to make time for 10 minutes, Satoshi says he likes them too. This is absolutely true. Well, this is my opinion. He says, you've got the best team, but currently the least video content compared to the other sites. We love to see y'all expanding the footprint. That's exactly what the goal is. And I thank you for saying that. We have great teamwork on our team. We all get along really well. And I think it shows when we do our shows and stuff, when we do the podcast, when we do a lot of times when we talk on the board and moderate together. And we just have a great staff synergy. And I know you guys don't pay for staff synergy. You pay for entertainment and information, but I think it helps a lot when we get along really well. Chad Bacon Lasagna at the line with, at least for today, a rare free throw attempt. Auburn, not a big free throw shooting team. They're a good free throw shooting team, but they don't shoot a lot. Not a lot of volume. Hey, we get to talk about Bill Belichick. Great. I was talking about that at the bar last night about why in the world would he come back to North Carolina, and the general consensus was that he was actually just doing that to get his son straightened out. His son apparently is the coordinator at Washington or somewhere like that, so they think they'll be able to move him over to North Carolina and then let him take over when it's appropriate, Solo Tigre, big fan of what Henri is doing for the basketball content. I'm telling you, he's like a savant when it comes to basketball. He's really, really good. He cares. He thinks about basketball all the time. He's so analytical. I have to kind of dial him down on the analytical stuff because I think he wants to just like commonly throw some very technical basketball numbers at you. And I'm like, bro, I don't even know what that is. And I care. You know what I mean? 15:40 to go. Auburn's going to take, well, actually, Auburn's not going to take it. It's going to be called the 16-minute media timeout. So let's get some fresh stats. I want to take a look at the second half numbers because that matters more to me right after halftime. Gives me a better feel for how things are going in that half. Oh, wrong one. Womp womp. All right. It takes a minute for these to populate. All righty. Unfortunately, this one doesn't... We'll get that straightened out for the next one that I pull up. It doesn't have those special little numbers at the bottom right, but that's just life. All right, this is just for the second half. So if you're saying, what? It's not 8-7, JG. It is in the second half so far. So, I mean, Ohio State, obviously, they're going to have to completely turn this around for the second half. They're going to have to dominate Auburn just to get back in the game, and that's not happening so far. 3 of 9 for the Auburn Tigers, 3 of 6 for Ohio State. So Auburn's already +3 on the field goal attempts. 6 boards to 2 boards. 1 assist and no turnovers for them. 1 assist and no turnovers for Auburn. So this is not looking like the kind of game that Ohio State's going to get back into. Yeah, Toomer says his son's going to take over, talking about Belichick at North Carolina. I don't know how good his son is. I don't either. And Matt N says the coach in waiting era was a failure. I'm trying to think of any situation where it worked. I guess Jimbo taking over. Jimbo was head coach in waiting at Florida State, right? And he unfortunately won a national championship there. I don't know if anybody else. Felix Stranger says it wouldn't be mad if you had Ferg on as a guest sometimes for basketball videos as well. I don't know as though Ferg would want to do that. Because I think maybe he kind of protects his own brand over there with the Observer. But he's a friendly chap, and he certainly knows his basketball. So yeah, I mean, I'm certainly on board with that. I feel like we got the best basketball guy on the beat with Henri. He's a steal too, steal, absolute steal. So stoked to have him with us as our young guy. You know what I mean? Let's see. Felix Stranger says, yeah, doing basketball videos with Henri, like the Portal videos you are doing, would be dope. Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. Maybe I need to work on that too. Yeah, and my friend, so there's a guy who runs an Alabama webpage. I know you guys, we don't like Alabama, but my friend Kyle Henderson runs a big Alabama page, and he works on YouTube mostly. And he's been kind of pushing me, like, you got to do this, you got to do this. And he has 100,000 subscribers, and he's doing these live videos, live shows all the time. He does package videos, he does shorts. This guy is just an absolute dominator. I feel like a stranger. Sorry if I missed that, bro. My bad. Sometimes it just kind of gets away from me on the chat. Let's see. Satoshi says, no college in the state of North Carolina has ever won a football national championship. I'm not surprised. Like, they're not good, usually. Maybe they'll be better now. I can't imagine him recruiting, though. Can you imagine? I would never send my son to play for him. Well, I wonder. Get away, dude. First day on the job, and he's the oldest coach in all of Division I. Like, come on, man. This is a young man's game. Sometimes I think Hugh's too old. Look at that. Dylan is just on fire, man. He's got 6 points this half already. He just backed that old boy down and hooked him. I love it. You love to see it. Solo says Henri may want to move on to NBA stuff. That's 100% true at some point, but you need to hang on to him as long as possible. No one else on the beat is close at the moment. And Toomer says he's got a 23-year-old girlfriend. Talk about Bill Belichick, yeah. Yeah, Chris M says the YouTube algorithm is a hell of a dragon to chase. Good luck with it. I've been doing a lot of Redditing, trying to learn more about YouTubing. And, I mean, I've been doing it a long time, I guess, but mostly I've been doing live streams, which is a whole different beast. It's funny because most of the people who do videos and make a lot of money on YouTube, they're doing, like, the short videos, and they are scared to do live shows. And then I'm completely the opposite. Like, I love live shows, and it's harder for me to do the package stuff. So I'm kind of backward on that. Let's see. Felix is he's down at South Alabama watching this game on TV. He says Deuce is making these other players look silly. Well, you love to hear that. That's a nice play from Ohio State. Little hop, skip, and a jump. Dish down underneath. Auburn's getting a little fronty. Auburn's getting a little too adamant about building a wall on that drive, and then they got beat by the alley-oop. A minor price to pay. Like my friend Johnny Weatherford says, the best lessons in life are the ones you pay for yourself. Oh, ambitious. That was going to be an ambitious alley-oop from Tahad to Dylan. Oh, a rare situation there where Auburn does not get back and has bad floor awareness on the break. Got beat by a half-court alley-oop on that one. I mean, look, guys, literally, I'm not concerned about Auburn losing this game, but you want to try to learn from your mistakes. That's the key. Oh, that was a big boy drive from Janai Broom right there. Oh my goodness! Like another 85% left-hander too. Let's see. Solo notes that another thing that would help is if BMAT posted his stuff on the Auburn Athletics channel instead of his own. You could spread out coach-player interviews to take advantage of the algorithm more. I don't understand what you mean. Spreading out the interviews, I'm just now learning to kind of battle this dragon that is the algorithm. There's a way to win. I just don't know what it is. If I was Janai and I made that play right there, I would have done more than just stare that guy down, because that's just absolutely sunning him. It's like, young man, let me show you how to do this. What an incredible addition he's been, right? I mean, I know that goes without saying, but to think that Janai was so close to going to Florida. Oh, my goodness gracious. Tahad Pettiford. Oops, wrong one. Splash. Oh, he's been good today. I mentioned this. I was talking about the left tackle from Virginia Tech on the video earlier today, and I said one of the cool things about him is either has a really good game or he has an okay game. He doesn't have disastrous games. And that's the way Tahad is, too. That's a hell of a shot from Ohio State right there. But Tahad doesn't have bad games. He has games where he's not as good, but he doesn't have those disastrous games like what JPP does, you know? He's still out there helping you in other ways, and that's really something special considering his age and inexperience, you know? Chris Moore out there for another shift. That's really interesting to me. Small Victory says it's bully / prison basketball with Broom. That's one way to put it, yeah. Satoshi says, is Janai the best Auburn player of all time? As far as what he's accomplished on the floor as a college basketball player, I think he is. I mean, obviously Chuck Barkley's a bad man, and he was a good college player too. He was an epic professional basketball player, and I think sometimes we have to delineate between the two just for the purposes of these kinds of arguments. I mean, Charles Barkley's, one of the all-time greats. And I think that Rifleman, he's not an all-time great really, but I mean, at Auburn he is. I think in the NBA he should have been better, but he's still a damn good player. He's probably a five-time All-Star, something like that. Let's see. Small Victories notes that Broom is a 1 rebound away from 2020. That's funny. All right, so Chad Bacon Lasagna hits a couple free throws and gets him up to 66. 66-35. Good golly, Miss Molly. This has just been absolutely like... I thought that was going to be a nice finish for Ohio State, but he missed it. Simo, get the ball away. Don't shoot the ball. Chad Bacon Lasagna was falling backwards so bad on that fall away that he fell into the bench. It's probably 6 feet to 10 feet that he rolled. They literally need to put like Janai in like bubble wrap when he's not playing because like he's so important. He can't. He needs to be wearing like knee braces like offensive linemen. Like just wear big ass ankle braces. We just can't afford to have that guy get hurt. Ephesians thinks these neutral site games will be edge. Come March, Auburn's played a bunch of them, either neutral or away. Playing at Duke, playing in Maui. Got this game. You got the Purdue game. Am I missing anything? That is a lot of exposure, really, isn't it? Nick wants to know where in the heck is Jakai. He's not really part of the plan right now. They're doing great other than that. Or without him, I should say. Let me go ahead and get another second half box score up. Some hot, fresh stats. These take a little bit longer to populate for me, so you got to bear with me. I think my daughter got home. She was coming home for the break. I'm sure she's going to go cheer her South Alabama Jaguars tonight. No, she's not. No, she's definitely not. She can't be inconvenienced to walk across the street to a home game, much less go to Crampton Bowl. These kids today, these sorority girls these days, what are you going to do? 17-14 this half. Ohio State, their bid for a comeback is not going well. In the second half, Dillon, of course, leading the way. He has 2 dunks and a really nice little hook, little mini hook. And Chad Bacon Lasagna, 4 of 4 at the line. 6 of 12 for them, 6 of 15. Auburn was +3 on the field goal attempts before, so it's been the same. 2 assists and 0 turnovers for Auburn this half. 3 assists, 0 turnovers for them. Auburn's points per possession this half is 1.21, which is just a little under par. 1.16 for them, which is around where Auburn likes it for them. Maybe a little bit. Wouldn't mind to see it at 1. So, yeah. It's been more even in the second half, but, I mean, Ohio State got punched in the mouth so bad the first half, they're still bleeding. I feel like a stranger says, hit that like button, guys. We love likes. I love likes. I get a lot of likes on the regular videos, but not as much on these. CJ says that Miles is on the bench icing his wrist, which is not great. Probably wouldn't want to see that as much, maybe. Miles in this half is 0 for 3 and 0 for 2 from 3, 7 minutes. So he must have just come out. Melee makes it very easy. Me and Chip like it when you describe it that way. Play D, score 80, win by 20, GG's. That's 2 hours in the life of Auburn basketball. Things you love to see. What else we got on football? Anything? I think Clev Lubin needs to be the next guy to commit. And then the left tackle from Virginia Tech. And if you get those 4 guys, that's a really nice start to portal season. Still need another backup or another quarterback to challenge. Chaney trying to go in. I feel like he tries that move too much. But he did get his own rebound and drew a foul, so that's fine. But he does this thing where, like, he's trying to get the hook off and he doesn't get it, and so he faces up and he's twisting to face up, and then he also jumps, and so he doesn't really get that high, and it's just such an odd-looking shot. His legs are spread wide, like he just doesn't look right, and he misses that shot every time he takes it. He's all right at the free throw line, though. Janai Broom. I would say he's the best Auburn player, college player, that's ever been here. I mean, how many All-Americans does Auburn have? Probably a handful. I mean, Porter maybe. Nice work by Tahad there to defend that drive. Nice rebound from Dillon. Nice save from Dillon. Some good effort going on the defensive end. He can't ever fault Auburn's effort on the defensive end. I mean, for any kind of stretch. It was a lazy pass from Tahad. Almost got in trouble. No, it's actually in trouble now. He's got to be smarter than that. Melee wants to know where Club Lubin is. And where can I become a member? I know somebody you could talk to about that. It would be this guy right here.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
Let's see. CJ says the Gators, of course, our go-to guy for all basketball information, says that CJ looked to be that Miles Kelly looked to be in pain. That's not good. He's a pretty key component. I mean, he ain't Janai, but he's important. He's your three-point shooter. He's a good defender. He's a good transition defender and attacker. And he's super duper experienced. I know this team doesn't lack experience, but he has as much as anybody. Denver with a little. I'm gonna give him a splash, even though it wasn't a three. What a little rainmaker from that long parabolic shot from about 12 feet. It was nice, dude. 70-35. This is just an absolute dismantling, dude. And I mean, Ohio State's just okay. I mean, they're okay though. They're a credible ball club, but they're getting shit on today. Bad. Michi Johnson's like, yo, man, can I go to Auburn? No, we're good. Don't need you here. Hope you enjoy your time there, though. Oh, dude, if Tejada hit that shot. Oh, my goodness. Gators, my fellow. Yeah, he likes Tesla. I like Tesla, too. It's a good time had by all. Just rolled out a new incentive yesterday, Tesla did, where if you buy a new Model S, you get lifetime supercharging included. They're not using the business of giving away well, no, they're not giving it away, of selling lifetime supercharging. Although, honestly, I don't supercharge very much because I got a charger at home. But, life is what it is. It's been interesting, though, being a new Tesla owner, that people in my family and friends and stuff always have questions about how the EVs work, and people are so uneducated. And it doesn't matter because if you're just driving a regular car, you don't need to know about it. But they all think that like the batteries are going to blow up, and I can only go like 30 miles and all this kind of stuff. Like, where did y'all learn about this? Dude, nice drive by Cheney. You don't say that as often as you should, but wow, nice drive. Kind of a meandering drive, but protected the ball the whole way and just went right in with his right hand. Great finish. You love to see it. Ooh. Really nice peripheral vision from Dylan to. So on that little alley-oop that they were going to use off the flex cut, that wasn't Dylan's guy, but Dylan's defensive positioning and awareness, he saw that it developing, scooted over. He kind of shuffled his way over there so he could maintain good position and cut that off. Really nice, nuanced defensive play from Dylan. That was nice. We got Kai in there right now, number 3. Let's see if he can handle this defensive assignment intelligently. I don't know if it was intelligent, but it was effective. Melee says there's a difference between insignificant pain and insignificant pain. Oh, that was going to be another slamma-jamma right there. But I think Dylan kind of lost his. Well, that one will do it. Good golly. Drop. So Dylan missed another. Absolutely could have been a monumental alley-oop, and then Cheney got the ball back, hustling his ass off in the full court, and then Dylan got open and just gave it the old full double-handed Bill Cartwright flush. Todd's like, bro, that was the perfect alley-oop right there. Oh. So Dylan's up. There's Turtle. Dylan's up to 8 points this half. Any half where he gets double-digit points would be huge for him. Absolutely huge. Let me get the latest second half stats up. Second half box score. That's what we like to call that in the business. It's on number 99 of the defense. After the play, he was down there giving them the business. Dang it. Hold on. I don't know why it does that to me. You're annoying. You're quite annoying. All right. Finally. Get these stats for you. Get the hot and fresh stats. All right, so this is just for the second half. Now, last time we checked in, Auburn was +1 in the points. Now Auburn is plus, 9? And they had another one of those surges we talked about earlier in the game where they just kind of play decently, and then boom, it's 8 points. And they just did one of their little 8-point surges presented by AST Space Mobile. 9 of 21 for this half. That's 43%. They're shooting 41%, so about even. 1 of 6 from 3 for the Auburn Tigers, which is way off what they were doing in the first half. But 6 of 6 at the line, where Ohio State has 0 attempts at the free throw line. See? Very rare we see it that way. Personal fouls is actually weighted to Ohio State. It was 5-10 in the first half. And now it's 5-3 the other way.
Just come in to say hey.
Hey, Maddie.
Hey, everyone.
Where's your Owala?
Downstairs.
Are you going to the game tonight?
What game?
Exactly. Your school.
No.
South Alabama is playing here tonight.
I know that. I'm not going. What you mean?
That's what I mean. Why don't
I'm
you?
going to Atlanta.
Oh, like right now?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why?
To have fun.
All right.
See ya.
She going to Atlanta. Well, really, you're going to like Flowery Branch, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not even really Atlanta. All right. I don't know. For those of you who live in Atlanta, would you consider Flowery Branch to be Atlanta? She's always up there like Buford and up near Road Atlanta. That's not Mableton. That's no, it is Mableton out that way, isn't it? I think so. Yeah. Anywho, let's see. John Davis says, from Seth Davis, seems like a good time to remind everyone I was one of 3 AP voters to keep Auburn at number 1 last week. I mean, yeah, it's weird that like voting Auburn number 1 in basketball would be like you had to be a naysayer to do that. This team is disgusting, dude. I guess some people look at a 6-point loss in Cameron and be like, I don't know, they're not very good. But I don't know. Whatever. Guess you guys are kind of weighing in on the Atlanta thing. Out that far is probably not considered Atlanta anymore. From me, it is because I live over here in Alabama. So like anywhere from like Lilburn to, I mean, like that's all Atlanta to me. I mean, I could damn near get to Athens and I think I'm still in Atlanta. Boy, Ohio State is struggling. The quality of the looks for Ohio State really comes and goes, man. But Auburn's quality of shot has been really good all day. Oh, Chaney's going in. I love it when he goes into marauder status like that. Just goes, he's like, I'm coming down this lane, and this ball's going up one way or another. CJ says that's more Gainesville, Georgia. That's way out there, bro. We went out there we raced go-karts out there one time at that really Atlanta Motorsports Park or whatever. And I really did think I was in South Carolina. It just kept going and going and going. I was like, God dang, we passed the airport 2 hours ago. How are we still in like Atlanta? And we're not, but to me it is. T-Roy says Crampton Bowl greater than Flowery Branch, Maddie. Get those priorities in order, T-Roy. Courtney, Maddie, she's gone now, but I think you're right. It's her school. It's definitely her school. Let's see. Small Victory says Atlanta is downtown. Plenty of us don't claim downtown. All right, very good. Melee says, how many years does Tahad stay? That's a great question. I don't know if you mean by transfer portal or NBA. I worry about his size from an NBA perspective. You know, smaller guys like that really have a hard time in today's modern NBA because of the defensive paradigm in the NBA where it's kind of like positionless. Everybody's doing what the Warriors kind of broke out doing 10 or 15 years ago. And I think it makes shorter guys like Tahad more difficult to value in the NBA right now. I know when we were kids, like Muggsy Bogues and, well, not that long ago, but Nate Robinson. I mean, there was a place in the game. Doc Rivers was kind of like that for smaller point guards. But, God, you think about the great point guards now. I mean, it's like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander for the greatest team in America, the Thunder. I mean, he's like a tall dude. I mean, he looks like a slashing 3. And he's a point, and our old point guard is Josh Giddey, who's like 6'5". I mean, I don't know, man. Our Stu says this is pure and utter domination, and I completely agree. I mean, this is just an absolute butt kicking here. I mean, I know they beat Richmond like worse than this, but you know, Richmond, you're not real worried about Richmond. Is this their most incredible thrashing of a decent team? I would have to say yes, because this is more of an ass kicking than North Carolina. I mean, Auburn beat North Carolina real handily, but this is an ass kicking. Memphis, they beat Memphis well, but this is an ass kicking. So yeah, this is just a thrashing. Ken Baum thought this was going to be a 9-point game according to their models, and it's going to be a little wider than that, I think, by the time this show is over. Be curious to see. I thought Purdue was going to be cooked when they lost their awesome player for the season. And they're actually still playing some decent basketball. They did get the win over Maryland recently, but lost Penn State and then to Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a weird team to mess with, though. They always have these weird. Their coach is weird, and they play a weird brand of basketball. I don't know. It's kind of hard to deal with. Daniel D. asks if we've talked about Jackson Arnold, who we just call J.A. now. Yeah, we talked about him a bunch earlier, and we've kind of interspersed this throughout our basketball show here. But I think most people in the bunker are pissed, and most people here are at least either intrigued or good with it. I think it's kind of the way people are looking at it. I think it's a very good addition. I think it's the best choice available in the portal for what Auburn does, because he's pretty much a dual threat. I mean, he's a real runner. He's an attacker with his legs, and he can also throw the football. He's got a stronger arm than Peyton. He has a very good arm inside of 20 yards, and he may have a good arm outside of 20 yards. We just couldn't really tell with the quality or lack of quality that Oklahoma had last year at wide receiver, due largely to injuries. But, yeah. He was having to carry things, and he didn't necessarily do a great job of that. But I don't want to give him too much hell for it. It was a tough situation. It would be like bitching at Trey Mason for the way that he played in 2012. Like, you finished with 1,002 yards or whatever. Like, you need to do better. Like, well, he was overcoming a lot, And Oklahoma just had a very weird season. R. Stews is fired up to have Ja'Kai out there playing, getting some minutes. Number 3, Ja'Kai Howard. He's kind of like the backup wing behind Chad Bacon Lasagna. That was a sweet pass from the point into the post. I thought that was a really cool pass. This is for Ohio State, by the way. Let's see. CJ's on the side of pissed. Better version of Peyton Thorne doesn't say much. I guess my thing on that, CJ, would be, and listen, I'm not like blown away by the guy, but like, who else in the portal would you have preferred to have? And whoever your answer is, they may get him too, because they're also on Malik Murphy and they're also on Ashton, and they're going to get another quarterback too. Chaney with a 3, and not even close. Just a total brick. Look at Dylan. Oh my God, Dylan with the reverse left-hander. Couldn't land it, but it was a sweet, sweet move for him. Just playing some one-on-one D here. Chaney, great technique right there. They called a foul, but positioning and technique were terrific there. Let's see. Small Victory says, one of the things I've always loved about Auburn fan, we rep our team with its name on the shirts, hats, everything, not just color. It's the name repped in the stands. Talking about that mom that was drowning beers earlier. I love it. Cleveland Brown says, was he really the best choice, or was he the best choice available and we couldn't afford to skip on him? I think that might be. I think those two things might be related, Cleveland, honestly. As far as who's in the portal, though, you're trying to say like Miller Moss or somebody like that, like the USC quarterback maybe you think was a better player. I can understand that. I would respect that opinion. But I think if they're going to RPO it, they need someone who can run, someone who can get the ball out quickly. And he's really good at both of those things. The other thing you might want, though, is someone a little taller. I think he's 6'1". And maybe you'd want someone who's more like 6'4", so they're less likely to get the ball batted down. But we'll see next year if that's a problem. It doesn't necessarily have to be a problem. Melee says left hand, not 80% for Dylan. That is correct. Let me go ahead and update this score right here. I'm reluctant to give them points, but they earned them after all. People were saying Mendoza, talking about the quarterback from Cal, who did a number on the Auburn Tigers earlier this year, although he wasn't necessarily awesome all the time. There's Ja'Kai. We got to give Ja'Kai a splash.
Splash.
Ja'Kai with a 3, and folks were pretty happy to see him playing tonight. Dylan with a very, very high, sky-high dunk. Dylan. I don't know as though we've ever had an Auburn player that was that much of a showman And he listen, man, he's backing it up now. He used to do all that talking 2 years ago, and I was like, dude, you're not good enough to do this, but he is now. He's not a great scorer, but he does a lot of good stuff for Auburn on the floor and doing the Hulkamania. That's pretty funny, man. I like that. John D thinks the Cal quarterback is too slow to run an RPO if he's going to be a running threat. Yeah, that ain't it. Turtle is in the game now. Getting maybe a shift or two here in the last 6 minutes. He can hit this shot right here. Oh, he missed with his left hand, though. Not 80% for Turtle on his left hand. CJ thinks the portal quarterback hunt should have been done last year when better options were out there. Interesting. Were they, remember my video this morning, I included one of the positives for Jackson Arnold that he was gettable because I thought that was kind of, I don't know, you necessarily have to say that, but I think there's a lot of quarterbacks, or there's a good number of quarterbacks that just aren't gettable for Auburn. Like the kid that went to, a lot of people say Riley Leonard, who's from Fairhope, should have gone to Auburn, but Auburn was basically like, what we got to do to get you here? And he's like, be Notre Dame. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think they could have gotten him. Cam Ward, I think they talked to him, but like I think the price that Miami offered was just like, well, we're not doing that. He's like, all right. Revenge jumps in. What's up, G? He says he's in State Farm watching Auburn absolutely destroy a team. Wardam, have a great show, JD. Appreciate you, Revenge. Look at that, man. Super chatting from the stands. Is that guy a badass or what? Unfortunately, I don't have my buttons working today. I'll have to get that fixed. It's frustrating. Appreciate you, Revenge. Absolute stud. I've been telling people this for years. And he's a Celtics fan, and I still respect him, CJ says sticking with PT wasn't the option either. If you cut him loose last year, which is what you would have had to do to get rid of him, right, you better have a plan. And I don't think they had an actionable plan for somebody that they thought was better. Were there players in the portal that were better? Yes. Were there guys that Auburn was talking to that were better? Yes. But were they gettable? I don't know. I don't. CJ, that's debatable, bro. But I really don't want to be in the position of like defending Peyton a whole lot because I'm familiar with his flaws, just like you guys are. All right, let's. With them going to this last media timeout, let's just get a overall. Boy, ESPN loves Dylan. He's like made for them. I don't know why I'm yawning. I got news about Jackson Arnold pretty early today and got started on my graphics. Getting ready for the video I put out earlier. But I still got a good night's sleep, though. I don't know why I'm yawning. All right, fresh, hot stats coming to you right here. Coming to you live on the Brain Drain. All right, so these are no longer just first half stats. This is a full game box right here. Come on, Jay. There you go. Ball control is the first thing I look at. 6 assists for their whole game. They only have 14 buckets, to be fair. 6 assists, 7 turnovers for them. Auburn's going to be happy with that. Anytime where they have an opponent with fewer assists to turnovers, they're happy with that. 14 assists to 5 turnovers for Auburn. I feel like Auburn had 3 turnovers in one segment late in the first half. Or was it early in the second half? They had one segment where they had 3. And everything else has been damn near nothing. Ephesians says, Jay, I can't believe I haven't shared the news with you, but my wife and I found out recently that we're having a baby boy. My man. Got to get him out on the golf course and then to Auburn for college. Bro, you're getting way ahead of yourself on that one, my man. But, yeah, I like the choice of college. We'll go ahead and put him in the class of, what would that be, 2040-ish? No, 2042, something like that. Yeah, that's huge. Daniel's giving you congratulations as well. That's great. being a parent is definitely up and down. I don't know if you're already a parent, like Daniel was asking, but sometimes it's really rewarding, and sometimes it really sucks. But all in all, it's an experience worth having, I think. Just to know, just so you can get humbled a little bit. CJ says, talk to Stoltz. He loves his golf. He absolutely does. Stoltz loves the golfs. And Small Victories, his nephew is going to find out tomorrow if he's going to make it into Auburn. It's that time of year, isn't it? Where people that are working ahead, they get their FAFSA documents in early like they should. They're getting their answers now. I like that. Ephesians says, second child. Got a girl already, but can't ever look too far ahead, LOL. Yeah, I never had a son, so I don't know what that's like. Can't really say I'm jealous, though. I'm glad for what we've got. Because there's people out there that try to have children and can't have them for various reasons, or choose not to have them for various reasons, and I'm just glad that I did get the one. So, how about that? Some dude I've never heard of is the career leader in points scored, active. I don't watch any Kansas basketball. Couldn't care less. Those guys can. I don't want to say a bad word. Daniel says they're about to have their third. Nothing better in the universe than being a parent. Yeah, there's better things for me, but whatever. It's such a blessing. You'll never do anything harder or more rewarding. You'll never do anything harder. I agree with that. It's just the rewards kind of come and go. And I don't know what a reverse reward is, but I feel like that's what happens sometimes. You bust your ass and try to do the right things, and then you get shit on anyway, and that's like, oh, it's soul crushing. But it is always doable. This is just my opinion. We're going way off topic here just because Auburn's just killing this team. It's always doable if you got a good spouse that you can trust and who trusts you, and you guys can be like a double-headed monster. That makes everything doable right there. I'm very fortunate to have that situation here in our house where I definitely married the right girl. I think she feels the same way about marrying the right guy. And we get along well, and always were able to kind of tandem on Mads when we needed to get stuff handled. It also helps that my wife's just a badass anyway. She's a tough chick. Doesn't whine about shit. Doesn't spend a bunch of stupid money. Just a responsible, good person. Jakai with a splash. It's tasty. It's delicious. Auburn up to 84 now. Auburn probably not going to hit 100, but they are going to hit 90, I think. Wow. I mean, I felt like Auburn because I got a couple friends, J-Dub and my friend Ren, are at the game tonight, and they were like, "What's going to happen in this game?" I said, "I think Auburn's going to beat them up pretty good." I think I predicted Auburn to win by 20-ish. Like 60, I think I told C-Web last night it was going to be 16. He was thinking 20. Looks like he was closer to good, but actually neither one of us were very close. JP P in the game now. And as someone mentioned earlier, I think it might have been Melee, that it's actually more like Tahad running point and JPP running off as like a de facto shooting guard. Turtle with the two. I wish he scored more so we could make that a soundbite. It's a two for turtle. Sam H says, is Jakai our most underrated player? That's an interesting concept. He might be, yeah, because hardly anybody knows who he is, and we know he's a terrific athlete who's actually more skilled than you would expect for his age. So, yeah, I do. The problem with him is he's just so emotional, and that's part of the reason that he's got into the airline situation or the airplane situation. Just his impulse control and his maturity is just short of where you would want it. That's a nice shot for Ohio State. But, hey, he's surrounded by guys that are a lot older and who are more calm, and I think Chad Baker-Mazara would be a great kind of mentor for him. A guy who also is – see, there's Turtle. I didn't hit it, though. I've been telling you guys, he's got a nice stroke. Looks like Blake's in the game, too, so you know what time it is. This is an interesting group here. You got JPP, Turtle, Blake, Kai, and Cheney. And Turtle's going to take another three. He's going to hit this one. Hell yeah, he is. I told you guys. Splash. I'm telling you, man, summer workouts last year, Turtle was absolutely spotting up and draining them, bro. I was like, this guy can really shoot. And it was just kind of like the frog from the old cartoons were like, when I would be watching him, he would be draining. And then like Henry would show up. And I'd be like, Henry, you got to watch Turtle. He's shooting. And then he'd be watching. And then it'd be brick. And it was like, the frog was singing 20 minutes ago, I swear. But Jakai is, we got Presley Patterson in there too now. Another walk-on getting some there. That's what you love to see. Those guys practice, again, every day. They're out there busting their ass every single day. And they've been doing it long enough now where they, like they get their instruction before practice as far as like scout team and stuff. And then they just execute it, man. You never see BP getting on their ass about anything because they just know what they're doing, It's such a valuable thing to have for a team. Turtle was going for another trip. Oh, he missed it, unfortunately. We got a super chat coming through from Ryan S., one of our favorites from the greater Nashville area. Says Ohio State won't be ranked 28 in Ken Palm after this game. We got to give them an enough for that one. No, they're getting absolutely drubbed, aren't they? Although Ryan loves to see it. Absolutely loves to see it. Auburn taking some what I would call ill-advised three-point shots here, but I realize it's late in a game that's not even close. Presley trying to challenge that drive. Didn't quite get it done, but, whatever. They got all the way up to 50, and I know that's a metaphorical L for the Auburn Tigers. They're only up 39, guys. I mean, geez. Jakai with another jam, slammy. He definitely has he gets up so easily, Oh, did he not? He didn't call bank, so we're going to only give them 2 for that. I'll tell you what, I'll give him 2.5. But that's all. All right, I'll give him 3. I just got told by my producer I have to give him 3. It's BS, man. All right, they're just going to dribble this out, JPP is, and put the finishing touches on this blowout win. 91-53 in favor of the Auburn Tigers. Ohio State just got absolutely shit on. Auburn was up big in this game early and pretty much just blew it out. Never really looked back. Let's get some of these final numbers together. Good golly, that was a slam bam. No thank you, ma'am. That's what that was. Now we got UCLA playing the Arizona Wildcats, who are not ranked. Crazy. And they're playing in the Suns arena, and they got the old Suns logos out and shit. You see that? On the baseline, that's like Tom Chambers and KJ, Kevin Johnson style. Don Marley. I used to love the Suns back then. I loved playing them in the Sega. All right, you guys don't care about that, though. You just want stats. And that's what I'm here to deliver. Coming to you right now. Here I am thinking about Bob Marley. Just kidding. Dan Marley. We also have a super chat coming through. Auburn, 91-53 again. Some of these numbers are amazing. 18 assists to 5 turnovers for Auburn. And again, I said this like 10 minutes ago, but they had 3 turnovers in one 4-minute segment. And everything else is just like total excellence in terms of ball handling. It's just absolutely amazing, dude. This is a really, really well done game. Cleveland Brown with the second super chat of the night. It says Auburn kept their foot on their throat from the beginning and kept their 30-point lead for the longest. I love this team. War damn Eagle. We're going to give him a clap for that one. Thanks for jumping in, Cleveland. And also drain my Owala, so I have definitely stayed hydrated. Thank you for reminding me, as always. This is how you remind me of what I really am. We could write a song about it. What else? 18 assists to 5 turnovers we mentioned was really, really good. 7 assists to 8 turnovers for them. Auburn out-rebounds them 49-28. Auburn had 16 offensive rebounds. Auburn had 19 second-chance points against their 5. Good golly, Miss Molly. 46% shooting from the floor overall. 43% from 3, which is terrific. Although they went from 56 to 29, half over half. But second half, they got to the line a bunch more. 2 of 3 in the first half, 10 of 11 in the second half. So they were driving more. Chaney was a big part of that. Tahad was part of that. Denver was part of that. I think it's important for Auburn to be able to have that mode they can get into where they can attack downhill. It's going to be needed at some point in March Madness, whether it's in the SEC tournament or you're in the NCAA tournament or you're in San Antonio, one way or another. You've got to be able to drive at some point when it's time for that. Anonymous, you got close, bro. It's Dan. I don't know how to say it, but that's not quite it. But it's pretty damn close, though. Matt N says it's Army Navy time. I know you're going to be pulling for Navy. I know that. I know you're a good guy. And there's really no losers in that game, but I know you're going to be pulling for Navy. Melee says Bruce saying he will help the Ohio State coach with a recommendation to Kent State. Chip says he wants fresh stats with frosting. Well, guess what, bro? You get it. Or you got it, I should say. Yes. Well, have we said it all, guys? I feel like we said it all in this one. That was just an absolute drubbing. I always feel weird at the end of the game, because it's like we've watched it all, we've talked about it all, and we all know what happened. And I feel like I'm just reiterating the same things, you know what I mean? Kyle M says, didn't know you were live. Thanks for the show, JGT. Appreciate you, bro. We've been going live pretty much every day. Every game, I should say. And been doing some videos this week, too, about the portal. I already did one this morning about Jackson Arnold committing or signing, and probably won't do one for Darrell, but there it is, Anonymous. Now you got it. Dan Majurley. That's exactly right. Fresh Boy says, love Bruce, man. Yeah, Bruce is really bringing it. It took him a while, but he finally got, really in 19, he was there. It was a fully realized vision, but boy, this team, jeez, man, he's got a lot of firepower. It really takes something special to bum Auburn out at this point, and there's going to be dips along the way in the SEC because this league is number one. It's the top-rated league in the country. You've got a lot of good quality teams. If South Carolina is the bottom feeder, and they're okay-ish, Vanderbilt's gone from just dog shit to decent. Everybody's pretty good now. Mississippi State's playing great basketball this year, so yeah. Chip says need more football drains like this one. That would be great if there were more, right? In the SEC championship game, like in a bowl game, it'd be terrific. I've been up on this hill. We went there for the when Auburn played in the national championship. By the way, that's not the stadium where Auburn played football. The stadium in Glendale is like way the fuck out there. And they designed it to look like a desert cactus. That's actually true. John D says, have to do a pod when we get an offensive tackle. Yeah, we'll be doing them. I promise you. And just for you, John D, I will make sure to give you a shout out when we do when the offensive tackle commits. There's going to be an offensive tackle commit. I don't know if it's going to be the guy from Virginia Tech, but somebody's going to commit from the offensive line. And I was fussing with Jay Legal early on the board a little bit. He was talking about Josh Thompson. He was disappointed to see that Josh Thompson was my number 9 player on my beast list. I like Josh Thompson. He plays guard for Northwestern. He was in, I think, Monday through Wednesday here, maybe Tuesday through Thursday. I don't know, the days get away from me, but he's a good player. I think he's a guard. I don't think he's a tackle, and I think Auburn's thinking about trying to cheat him outside and playing right tackle. I feel like guards are guards and tackles are tackles, and when you try to do this back and forth BS, it doesn't work out. And think about Dylan Wade. He played great at guard because I think he's a guard. when they move him to tackle, the best he can hope for is to be okay. And maybe that's what Auburn's shooting for at right tackle. They just want to be okay. Knuman, I think about that every single time I talk about him. When I talk about Josh Thompson from Northwestern, I always think of Josh Thompson, the nose guard, stump, who played here back in the aughts, as Will Collier would call them, the 2000s. Who was always a pleasure to talk to. And a fun player to watch, too. Country, though. But that's the best kind, really. Great job on portal updates. Small Victory says, short and sweet to give us info. Keep it up, Ward M. Eagle fam. Appreciate you, Small Victories. That's not a small victory. That's a big-ass victory right there, and I thank you for taking the time, first of all, to watch those videos, and second of all, to let me know that you like them. Just want to try to keep making them better, but not making them longer, just making them better. So my wife tells me I need to do. The SEC in basketball reminds me of the ACC in the 90s and early 2000s. This is definitely the halcyon days for top-to-bottom basketball in the SEC. I mean, the investment has been crazy. I think the SEC network kind of was the impetus behind this. It brought a lot of inflow money. Mike Slive demanded that these guys get their shit together, the ADs, and really invest in basketball. And Auburn did more than its fair share. I mean, it really went balls deep on Pearl to get him here, to keep him here. They had just made the big investment into the arena. I mean, that didn't start with Pearl, but it's a really nice arena. It's not big, but it's really nice. And Auburn's, I think, leading the way in the SEC as far as investment into basketball, and the return on investment has been terrific, obviously, because we're out here doing live shows about Auburn basketball. We wouldn't even consider this. Dude, 15, 12 years ago, I had an intern covering basketball, and nobody else went, because it was just an opportunity for that person to ask questions and write stories and get better. That's all we cared about with football, with basketball. Nobody gave a shit. Late in Lebo's tenure, throughout Barbie's tenure, and now here we are. We got live shows. We're doing it wall to wall, you know. All right, I guess we'll wrap it up there. We've been doing a lot this morning. We got the video out on Jackson Arnold. That's a big deal, obviously. And then we've done the live stream to do the back-a-ball. And we got a lot of legends in here. Yo Malcolm is here with us. Fresh boy. Appreciate you guys. Of course, Cleveland Brown for the super chat. Ryan S. Small Victories. Appreciate you guys. Feel like a stranger. I don't think he's in the chat anymore, but we still love him. Knuman's been here from Wire to Wire. We appreciate him always being positive and such a stud. Always somewhere new and somewhere fun while I'm stuck at my house being a nerd and a dork in my own community. It's fine. It's fine. It's what I am destined to do and what I am destined to be. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. I do want to say shout out to you guys for being here with me today and keeping me company while I do this, because if I didn't, I'd be shouting into the abyss. Thank you very much for watching the videos that we've been doing and for being part of the auburnsports.com community. I know that like 98% of you guys are auburnsports.com people, but to the 2% of you, you should probably join our legion because it's fun and it's hilarious and people generally take it in good humor. Generally. So I'll wrap it up there, guys. Be on the lookout for more videos on the YouTube channel at Auburn Athletics is what it's called. Give us a subscription. Not the kind you pay for, just the ones you click for. And we will check you guys later. Next live show is going to be, I think we're going to do it'll be the basketball game midweek if we don't do one before. If there's a rash of major developments in the portal, we might just go live from it instead of just doing videos, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, appreciate you guys. Enjoy the hell out of that Saturday. Enjoy the hell out of this W, and enjoy responsibly. I would just say it that way. So until next time, see you guys. Keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. Peace.